Welcome to Purposely Peaceful. I'm your host, Jessica Rivera, a licensed marriage and family therapist and a quantum hypnosis practitioner. This podcast is where real life meets inner peace. You'll get honest conversations, practical tools, and soulful guidance to help you live with more clarity, calm, and purpose. Let's dive in. Today, we're diving into something we all carry around with us every single day, whether we realize it or not. It's our emotions. So if you've ever felt like you're one moment away from cracking under pressure, or you've had emotions come up out of nowhere, this episode's for you. I want to begin with the fact that most of us were never taught how to feel our emotions. We were just expected to figure it out based on what we saw growing up. And let's be honest, the generations before us, they were even less informed than we are now. Emotional regulation wasn't even a skill. It was more like suck it up, get over it, or go cry in your room. So we adapted, we coped, we stuffed things down, and now, here we are as adults, still trying to navigate big emotions that sometimes get the best of us. In those moments, we're honestly no different than our kids. We shut down, we lash out, we go quiet, we spiral. Because here's the thing, when we are emotionally overloaded, there comes a breaking point. Your mind and your body will say, I've had enough. And when it does, it speaks to you through symptoms. From what I've seen in my own life and throughout my career, these symptoms usually show up as anxiety, panic attacks, depression, angry outbursts, sometimes even full-blown psychotic episodes. And for others, the body forces a timeout. You avoid your emotions long enough, your body might just take you out of the game, so you're forced to rest. The emotional overload is real. I've seen this in my own life at different times for different reasons. I've overworked myself for a long time, and at some point, my body told me I'd done too much. I'm someone that wears all the hats in my family, or I was, and that meant I worked, I homeschooled my kids, I cooked, I cleaned, I drove the kids to sports or whatever, we visited family, we did all the things that we were supposed to be doing. I remember one day we had a really fun day at Disneyland, but the next day I physically couldn't get out of bed. I could barely walk to the bathroom with help from my husband. He took good care of me, but I was so confused. I didn't understand why. As I laid there for 3 days, I journaled on why this could have happened. I was finally able to start to get back up and move around, but long story short, I had worked myself sick. I had been working in overdrive for so long that I never even considered that it would catch up to me. So I took it upon myself to start to take care of myself. Live and eat as if I wanted to live. So that meant that my mental health needed rest. My body needed real nourishment. And I could no longer push myself that hard because it wasn't worth my health. But I committed myself to drinking lemon water and celery juice every morning and lived for a period of time on a plant-based lifestyle. My health came back better than ever. I have seen this so many times in my career where clients, for whatever reason, break their leg, ankle, or hand, or they've had a nervous breakdown, and it's so significant that it directly impacts every area of their lives. And by the time they decide to work with me, they have made up their minds, and they know all too well that they need to take care of themselves. Which leads me to share with you how I believe that we carry emotions. I want to introduce to you what I call the emotional backpack. Let me break this down the way I used to as a preschool therapist, because honestly, adults need simple too. Imagine you're walking through life wearing an invisible backpack, and inside that backpack, it's everything that you haven't processed. Every emotion, every experience, every moment you didn't get to fully feel or release. Maybe when you were a kid, someone called you a name and that stuck with you. That's a pebble in your backpack. Maybe someone treated you horribly, left a mark on your heart. That's a rock. Maybe you wanted to speak up, but instead you suppressed the truth. That's a big rock. And if you've been through something traumatic, that's a whole boulder. Now think about how much of that stuff can build up over time. How much weight we can end up carrying without even realizing it. Years of emotional buildup. Here's the thing, you can either choose to start unpacking that backpack little by little, or life will eventually force you to. Sometimes that looks like an injury, burnout, or an illness that takes you out of your usual routine and leaves you stuck, alone with your thoughts. And when that happens, all the stuff you've avoided, it starts to bubble up. You've got to be willing to take a look at your emotional backpack. What's been weighing you down? What have you carried for too long? And what are you finally ready to set down? When you're finally ready to do the work, it's as if you're finally taking a look at that pebble that's been festering, those rocks that keep slowing you down, and chipping away at that boulder that keeps you stuck. So let me share with you how to begin to process your emotions. This is what I call the 4-part cycle of emotions: feel, acknowledge, process, and release. First and foremost, we want to feel. Emotions are meant to be felt. We are designed to have emotions for a reason. They are there to communicate with us about how we actually feel about something. They provide us information. Emotions are the messengers of something deeper. When you've become upset or you've had an upsetting memory or anything like that, any kind of trigger, it's just a signal. Hey, it's time to work on this. Sometimes when we're feeling our emotions, they don't always make sense. Sometimes they don't even have anything to do with what's happening around us. And remember that our cells also contain cellular memory. So that means that they can remember trauma in the body in a way that sometimes doesn't really match or connect to the mind. That's just something to think about. So no matter what, emotions are meant to be felt. And that leads us to the next part, which is to acknowledge your emotions. Notice your emotions. Bring your attention to them. Name it. What is it that just came up? Anxiety, anger, fear, sadness, jealousy, whatever it is. Why give it a name? Because you need to know how you really feel about something. A lot of the times when I ask, how are you feeling or how does that feel? They don't give me a name. They go straight to the problem or what they believe the problem is or what they assume is going on. This is an opportunity for you to check in with yourself. Take that moment to acknowledge. Have you ever had a random memory pop up in your head, literally out of nowhere? Like the time when you got embarrassed when you walked straight into a glass sliding door at a birthday party? True story, by the way. Might have gave it away because I was oddly specific. When we have these random thoughts or memories pop up into our heads, they are usually showing up because there's something about it that we need to process. Processing our emotions is about how we manage our feelings, allowing us to take emotionally difficult experiences and work through them so they don't continue to weigh us down. This is about allowing emotions to come up to the surface without judgment. It's about allowing yourself to actually grow. Judgment keeps you stuck. Processing doesn't mean we go relive the trauma, not at all. It's about who we are now because of it. Processing means that we take that time to examine what has come up. What has it taught us? What can we do better so things like that won't happen anymore? What are the lessons that come from these emotions or experiences? Meet yourself with curiosity instead of criticism. And when you do that, you open the door to healing. You create space to understand your patterns instead of just punishing yourself for them. And from that space, real change can happen. And once we've processed it, we then want to make a conscious effort to release our emotions. Releasing emotions is not about holding on to everything that's happened to us. Emotions get stored in the body. And I've seen it in my own life and with so many others. We hold back, we suppress what we want to say, but in the end, we're just hurting ourselves. And we don't want to do that anymore. We can have thoughts and beliefs about a situation, but in no way do we have to carry them. Thoughts are fleeting. Don't make yourself hold on to something if it isn't enhancing your life. In a bit, I'll give you some ideas to help you practice releasing emotions. But before I do, I want to talk about what it could be like as you process things over the years. Sometimes we feel like we've made progress, we've healed something that was painful, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get triggered, or a feeling or a thought might come up. What happens is that we are evolving over time, and what we might have healed from a different stage of life might revisit us later on. And so when things do come back up, it's because we are at a new level of understanding, and there's a part of us that is much wiser and is ready to process with the version of yourself that you are today. And this is why releasing emotions is important, because sometimes there's different layers that we need to release. And to start to release emotions, we have to start with feeling the emotions that have come up. We acknowledge it by naming it for what it is. We process what happened and what we have learned because of it. And then we release what no longer serves us. Releasing could be journaling, talking to yourself, talking to a therapist. People release a lot of emotions when they do a quantum hypnosis session. I had a lot of emotions come up, and it was about things that I didn't even think I had a problem with. But I'll share more about that another time. But besides that, you could also do a visualization or a meditation where you see this emotion, this experience as a light in your body. Look at this light in your body, and it's whatever color feels right for you, and you just start to watch it leave your body. I'm going to give you a few different options here. You can send this light, this emotion, these beliefs, this trauma to the heavens, or you can ground it into the earth. Imagine it be absorbed. Or you can hand it to an angel or Jesus. You can also watch this light transform within you and become nothing but love and be reabsorbed back into your body. Make it your own, whatever brings you the most comfort and healing. Practice that and see how it goes. And some of these things require us to practice over and over, time and time again. It's not just something that comes up once and it's gone. Sometimes, but not always. I want to leave you with this. You don't need to carry it all. You don't need to be the strong one all the time. Healing begins when you listen to your emotions, not avoid them. When you unpack your emotional backpack, you create room for more peace, joy, and purpose. I want you to notice what emotions are surfacing for you. Name them. Get curious. Let your healing be slow, sacred, and your own. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. It really helps this message reach more people who are ready to start living purposely peaceful lives. Until next time, be kind to yourself. You're doing deep, beautiful work here. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. I hope something here met you right where you are. This podcast is for inspiration only and not a substitute for therapy. Please reach out to a licensed professional if you need support. I'll catch you on the next one.